Okay, hello again, everyone, and welcome to Toops' Classroom. Today we're going to talk a little more about volume and when it comes to a point. Now, let's take a look here. Put volume, and let's start off with a triangle here. And then put a dot at the top, like that. And remember, you're responsible for copying all the diagrams. We're going to label this diagram. Now, take a look at that diagram. I want you to see if you could draw the net, because this is going to be one of your questions, okay? In other words, can you open this up? What would it look like? Well, which is down, and then three triangles. So you have a base, which looks like this. Then you're going to have go over here, a triangle over here. You know the ladies in the cafeteria, they wear a hairnet, okay? So if you fold this up, you would make this triangular pyramid, okay? Now what I want you to know here is this. For volume, it's big B times H, but since it comes to a point, what must we do? Remember, anything that comes to a point, the volume, you have to divide by 3. It's 1/3 as big as it was originally. In other words, it lost 2/3. When you put a point, you actually lose 2/3 of it. Okay? In any event, what I want you to see here is that the base is a triangle. So right here you would say 1/2 the base times the height. Now this H right here is actually the height of the pyramid, and that would go straight down. That's called the height of the pyramid. So we're going to use a big H. Okay? The little h is the height of the triangle. Now the height of the triangle would look something like that. Okay, so there's a difference between the top of the pyramid to the midpoint at the bottom and the height of the triangle. So there are two different entities. So for the base, I'm using a small h, but for the big height of the pyramid, I'm using a big H, okay? Then you got to divide by 3. Now I know this looks weird, okay? But all it is you see that 2? That 2 technically is on the bottom. So it's going to be 1, which doesn't matter, times B times H times big H divided by 2 times 3. And 2 times 3 is 6. So the last thing you're going to do is divide by 6. And this is your base, and this is your height, okay? All right, now I don't know if you're keeping up with me, but that's how you do the volume on this one, okay? It's kind of tricky, but that's the way you do it. Okay, now you might be like, well, let's work one. Well, okay, well, that's a good idea. So let's go to example number 2, and we'll actually work this. So draw a triangle, and put the height of the triangle as 10. The base, we're going to say, is 20, okay? And then the height of the pyramid, put a dot right there. The height of the pyramid is going to be straight down to the middle. I know that looks a little weird, but it should be the middle. So the height of the pyramid, we're going to put 15. Okay, so we have two heights here. We have the height of the triangle, and we have the height of the pyramid. Make sure you understand that. Okay, there's actually a third height, but I don't want to get into that right now. So put volume equals big B times H, and since it comes to a point, divide 3. Make sure you know that. Okay, you can use your notes, and I don't care if you get somebody to help you. So big B is a triangle, so put 1/2 the base. Well, the base is 20 times the height. The height of the triangle is 10 times the height of the pyramid, which is 15, divided by 3. There it is. That's all it is for volume. And this can be cubic. So 20 times 10 is 200, so put 200 times 15, press equals, and then divide by 6. You could divide by 2 and then divide by 3, but 6 is easier, so it's 500 cubic inches. And that's how you do it. Okay, not too bad. Let's do a rectangular pyramid, number 3. You know, we're running out of paper. Is your teacher working you too hard? Okay, don't answer that. So put a rectangle. But understand that I'm working you hard because that's for you. Okay. All right, there it is right there. That is called a rectangular pyramid. Well, the height of the pyramid comes straight down. Let's call that one 20. Okay. And let's say this is 10, and let's say this is 5. So it comes to a point. So draw the net. Let's see if you can draw the net. So try that. Pause the video and draw the net. What would it look like? Well, you'd have the base, which looks something like this. Then you'd have a skinny triangle over here. And I know sitting around the house is skinny might not be the right word. And then you got a triangle over here, and a triangle over here. Okay, so you got 2 different triangles. Okay. Well, we're not doing surface area because surface area would be a little more complicated. But let's say volume. Volume is big B times H divided by 3. If it doesn't come to a point, don't divide by 3. But this one does. So at this point, the base is a rectangle. So it's going to be length times width. So it's 10 times 5, length times width, times the height of the pyramid, which is 20. And then since it comes to a point, divide by 3. It's real simple. You can do it. So this is 50 times 20. So 50 times 20, press equals, divide by 3. I get 333.3 repeating cubic inches. And that's volume. All right. Well, I think we concluded everything except the surface area of this boy. And let me just say that if you did surface area, you'd have to know the height of the triangle here. The height of that triangle would be the same as the height of that triangle. So you'd have 2 triangles the same, this one, and then those would be the same, and then you'd have a rectangle. Now, this height right here is actually the height from here to here. It's called a slant height, and I mentioned this to you before. You can go on YouTube and watch a video. Just look up somebody else's. So that's called the slant height. Write that down. In the slant height, they use some kind of notation of L, just so you know. So if you ever see L, it's the height of the sides of the triangles. And you would need to know that if you did surface area. All right. Anyhow, I just wanted to mention volume. Okay. So hopefully you can reach and get one of these right if somebody gave it to you. All right. So here's your homework. Now remember, you have to copy all 3 of these. And then your homework is right here. I want volume of this figure. So we'll do a triangular pyramid like this. The height of the triangle we're going to say is 6. The base we're going to say is 8. And the height of this thing, the height of the pyramid itself, we're going to say is 30. So figure out the volume. Remember, it comes to a point. Okay? Show all your work. And by the way, some of you are turning in your work via email. And that's fine. If you're going to turn it in late, toupsb@pcsb.org. Write that down if you don't know my email address. But let me just say this. It's very hard for me to figure it out when I got 30 people turning in late work. Okay? And I'm nice enough to do it. But from now on, I want your name, date, and period. Without the period, it's hard for me to find where you are, okay? I know we've been laid off for a while, and, you know, sometimes I forget who's in which class. All right, but anyhow, name, date, and period, or I'm not going to be able to grade it. And you have to show the work. Got a couple of you that might be doing a little bit of iffy work, but most of you are doing great work. Okay, so keep it up. And those of you that are not quite giving me your full effort, please start doing that. Tomorrow you have your practice test, or Friday rather. Friday you have your practice test, and you can work all weekend and turn it in on Monday, and then Tuesday's your test. Here we go. Good luck.